Welcome to Career Insights. The Career Insight series features local industry professionals engaged in conversation with students and recent graduates about career planning and job opportunities in Polk County, Florida.
Thank you for being here today. This is another episode of Career Insights, and we're really excited to be able to share with you. Today's topic is around video production, and I'm Dr. Naomi Boyer. I am the chair of the Polk Academies Advisory Board.
I'm Andy McIntyre. I founded a company called Indie Atlantic Films about probably 15 plus years ago now in West Palm Beach, and it's now located in Lakeland, Florida. And I own a coffee shop and started a nonprofit called Give Visuals as well. And it's a way for filmmakers to give back to nonprofits globally. So I love filmmaking. I love the storytelling aspect of it.
My name is Joel Faubert. I am from the area in Winterhaven. That's where I graduated high school, from Winterhaven High School, and then went to Tallahassee and graduated from Florida State with a media production degree. And now I work at Pothash Studios with Mike Pothash for the last decade.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Harder. I am a senior producer at Yellow Jacket Productions at Bartow High School. Previously, I have worked on 2 documentaries. My documentary last year won a film festival in Australia. I am currently working on a documentary about a South African Olympian. Here, I am actually going to go to Florida State for digital video productions.
What's really fascinating is even in your introductions, you all were talking about storytelling. So Andy, we're going to start with your story. I'm really interested in hearing how your path wound you to video production and what kind of roles are possible to do as far as a career.
First of all, it's ever evolving, right? And so I think that's what we all realize is it's not what it used to be, and it's not what it's going to be tomorrow. And so everyone has a different role to play. My passion comes from, again, storytelling, but there's so many different aspects of that. I think all 3 of us, I mean, Kirsten, Joel, we all have different skill sets, and that's what makes filmmaking so fun and production. And there's a difference between broadcast and there's a big difference between filmmaking. I got involved because I had teachers that believed in me. I went to a public school, and it was starting in middle school that I really got plugged in, and they gave me the opportunity that I might not have had at other schools. And so I found a passion for it. In high school, I flew up to New York after 9/11 and made a documentary about the effects it had on the firefighters and first responders. And that was mind-boggling. I saw things that I think I was a junior at the time. Most juniors probably had not seen before in their lifetime. So my story is still evolving. It's still being created, it's still being told. And so for me, it's doing good work with good people and never settling.
How were you in the position to get that opportunity though? I mean, what happened that you were in that position to be able to say, I'll do it?
Networking is huge, right? But also following through on what you say will allow you to grow. You know, my network was South Florida, West Palm Beach World, Miami. A lot of it is because the right doors were open, you know, and having the right mentor, having the right the circles that you would be around, that helped a lot, and that's critical. If you don't put yourself in those situations, if you cast doubt on yourself, you know, time and time again, you're never going to succeed in that. My mom told me when I graduated high school, she said one of the best pieces of advice, she said, you're the only one that can hold yourself back. What you need to know is that we've made it this far because we always follow through with what we say we're going to do. And people know they have expectations, and we meet those or we surpass them. If you don't follow your dreams, you never will, right? If you have to have a dream, one of my other favorite quotes, you have to have a dream to have the dream come true. If you're not following your dreams that you know that you have in your heart and your mind, that, you know, what are you doing, right? And it's okay if you don't always do that, and you can fall back on other things, but give it a try.
And the guidance that you're giving is really important regardless of industry, regardless of sector. We're here talking about video production, but I think the words of wisdom that you're imparting here are really important regardless of what industry you're in. Well, Joel, I know you have a passion in this video production space as well. You are a Winterhaven graduate. You went through their program. I'm interested to hear how that experience cultivated your passion and sets you up to be doing the types of things that you're doing.
My passion kind of started at a young age, that the neighborhood that I grew up, We'd all be playing outside and everything. And my friend had a like old school video camera. So I just started that. We'd make our own small films. And of course, none of us had computers. So we'd have to like pause, rewind, cut, redo some scenes, and then put it on a VHS and everything. But the great thing about Winterhaven that I really enjoyed was getting our hands actually on computers, lights, cameras. That was like a really, really big thing. I think that separated us. Even when I got to Florida State, there's a lot of people that didn't have that chance to have the software yet.
How has the academy that you're enrolled in, tell us a little bit about the academy, and how's that preparing you? Like, what are the technical skills that you're gaining that are going to set you up for success as you do go on?
One thing that I think that I love about this program is that like it's really for everyone. If you're a camera person, you can learn camera. If you're not an anchor, you can do something behind the scenes. And I think that I really like that because like I personally am not the best cinematographer, but throughout the years I have learned like good camera angles and stuff like that. But I also am like a really good script writer, so I can help people in writing scripts and teaching them how to use scripts. We have the editing software and all that. So like we have a girl who is animating a short film, which is amazing. Like she's using her skills and she's setting her mind to do that. I do have a question about like internships. Like, did you guys get internships after high school, in high school?
College was the first time I had an internship. I was lucky enough to have, just like Joel, it sounds like you, Kirsten, too, is have phenomenal high school, teacher essentially in the studio that gave me the best opportunity I could have ever had. You won't get hired anymore if you don't keep learning, and people notice that and they pick up on that. And if you're willing to learn and honest and transparent about that, it's great for others to see.
How do you recommend to keep that learning up and keep your skills intact?
Even from a young age, like anytime I watched a film, it always intrigued me. I always asked the question, how and why? Like, how did they achieve that? Like, and why did they do that? Why does the shot move a certain way? How did they light it? How did they create that camera movement? Just keep researching, keep looking, keep watching tutorials. I was a big Andrew Kramer guy. Video Copilot used to be a great thing when I grew up, if you never heard of that one.
You want to learn to edit, but you're script writing. You feel like script writing is important, but you want to be a producer. Those three things are some of the biggest things you could ever learn. If you understand script writing, everything else will fall into place. Script writing is one of the hardest things to be able to do. It's not my gift. I can do it, but it's not my gift. And so one of the other things is surrounding yourself with people who are better than you and being okay with that. And if one of the best pieces of advice I was given was hire for where you want to be, not where you're at.
What are the changes that you've seen that you think are coming that you need to stay ahead of when it comes to technological advancement?
So something that's critical that I'm going to say, we keep saying technology is changing, it's evolving. It is 100%. I'm going to say this, storytelling is not changing though. And I think once you learn storytelling, and you're always learning, right? But storytelling is critical, and that is not always changing. And so once you really understand that, that will give you confidence, even if technology changes. I was really kind of overwhelmed with technology in the beginning, right? I wasn't the biggest tech guy in the beginning. And so that kind of overwhelmed me. But again, I started surrounding myself and I put myself out there to try new things. Just like Joel, we've built up, a massive amount of equipment that I never thought I'd own, to be honest. But a couple of things we did was we were always debt free. That was a big thing for us, is that we invested and we kept climbing, but we didn't. I've seen many production companies go under because they went out and bought everything you could imagine. And for about 6 weeks, they were the coolest thing in the world and they had all the gear. Then they were gone. Surround yourself with these good people. The technology is the second most important thing. Storytelling comes first.
So in my industry, we talk a lot about the T person, the T profile. So that's those employability, 21st century skills. Sometimes you'll hear them called the soft skills that extend over time, that are durable. You're talking about storytelling is not going to change.
You can learn a lot in other areas. But what I couldn't learn was communication skills. And so I changed my major from filmmaking to communication. Still took a lot of filmmaking classes as a minor, things like that, so I could still stay sharp. But I realized if I couldn't speak, if I couldn't sell, if I couldn't communicate with others, it didn't matter what a great filmmaker I was.
But do you hire interns? Do you bring in interns into your practice, whether from high school or post-secondary?
Yeah, we do, absolutely. I always try and get back to, again, BDTV as Blue Devil Television for Winterhaven High School. We typically do about 1 to 2 internships a year. And then we've had a couple of kids from UCF that are still in school that we've done internships with. Certain programs, like, you wanted to get more out of. So we're fortunate, too, that we ask the interns, like, what do you really like to learn? Or, like, what haven't you had a chance to learn? And a lot of the answers is usually lighting, that a lot of people think they can just pick up a red camera and then you're going to get an amazing image. But
thinking about an entry-level position, what does it pay? What are you looking for? Are you looking, when you're hiring and you're looking to bring on to your team or expand a bit, are you looking for someone with industry certifications? Are there specific industry certifications? Are there specific skills that you're looking for?
Communication skills to me is huge. Not so much from a selling standpoint, but just communicating. To be able to say, like, Kirsten, you're working on a script and there's changes, then we have to worry about, okay, how are we going to achieve this shot? And we got to update it with the client.
You can always teach someone something. And for us, it's more about the person, who they are, their integrity, who they are, if they're well-rounded, their communication skill. Because being in the industry this long, you've seen everything. Sometimes the flashiest person who's overly confident is the last person I want to work with. Sometimes you need that person, and so the film world is very different. We have a very core team, there's 4 full-time people here in our studio right now. And then we have part-time, and then we have a million contractors, freelancers. That's how this world works. They're all freelance contractors for the most part. So you can specialize in something. If you specialize as a DP, I'm only going to speak a little bit of that, or a director, they're making well over $100,000 a year. We surround ourselves with different people and different skill sets. There's people who do audio who make $1,000 a day. Starting at. There's people, it depends on what industry. If you're in Nashville, California, your rates are different. Florida is a great place to do business. It's a hot market. If you want to work on movie sets, narrative specifically, you need to be going to Atlanta, LA, somewhere around there, Louisiana, something like that, and surrounding yourself with those people. You need to start as a PA, a production assistant, and you need to be able to spend the next 5 years working harder than you've ever worked in your life. And you might make $200 a day if you're lucky. We get requests daily, for internships. We only take juniors and seniors in college right now because it's so much work, to be honest, for us, but we want to give back. Obviously, the pandemic has changed a few things for us. We aren't accepting it now. The one intern that we hired, that we let on, we ended up hiring. That's how specific we are about those things.
So always make sure, if that's your goal, that's your thing, and you want to do nothing but films, go to Atlanta, go to LA, be a PA. That's what you want to start. If you want to be a DP and you know that's exactly what you want, keep investing on the camera side and keep investing on that. It's great to be well-rounded, as we always said, and always come back to that. But there's a lot of people that you can keep buying. It's an expensive industry. You can buy computers, you can buy lenses, you can have lights. But if all you're doing is being a DP, then you just spend a lot of money on the editing side where you really didn't need to, where you can perfect your skill set and craft a little bit more. As Andy mentioned, you guys have DPs that make like over $100,000 a year. And the reason why they do that is because they invested on just the camera side.
A quick question from someone who's not in the same field you all are. What is a DP?
A director of photography. Yes.
There you go. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure on that one. And I also heard from both Andy and Joel that if you're going to bring on an intern, you're investing in that person. And it sounds like a good way, if you go into that internship with a mind to impress and to do the hard work and the legwork, it could turn around into a job for you.
Personality and work ethic, it's the most important thing. Because over time, you'll see if someone will have the work ethic. I mean, you have to pull all-nighters. You got to do early morning shoots, long days, things like that. And someone can speak really, really well at first, but then when you actually get them in the field, some people do great and some people don't.
What are the challenges that you're anticipating in front of you? And then on the other side of it, Joel and Andy, what challenges did you face?
One challenge that is really terrifying to me is like, this is a tough industry, like the best of the best make it. And so that's why you have to like really, really work hard. And that's why you have to be like the best going into this field. And so I think that is one of the biggest challenges, because if you're not committed and if you're not going to put in the work, you're not going to get anywhere in this field. So I think that's a really big challenge. But at the same time, with that challenge, you have a goal in mind. So knowing that you have to be the best of the best, I myself am working harder and harder.
And early on, I had to be the yes person, right? And I had to say yes. I thought I did, really. And I had to say yes. I had to say yes to opportunities. And I was a big advocate because I heard a lot of people say no. And so you were saying earlier, Naomi, how did I get connected? It was by saying yes. But there comes a time when it's okay to say no, you know, and I've learned that through the years. I wish someone said it's okay to have some boundaries. By the time I think I was like 26, I had traveled on the craziest trips, private yachts, private jets all around the world doing the craziest things, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I realized then I thought I had made it. I didn't even know what was going on. I thought I was like, I've experienced what most people don't experience a whole lifetime. And I realized it's not about that, right? It's not about the money. The best thing I ever realized was to never make it about the money. Do it because you love it. Money will come. If you're good at what you do, you'll always find it's a skill set. You'll make money, but do it with the people that you want to do it with. Make it about quality and not quantity. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself where it only takes one thing for you to make it in this industry, you know, and it also only takes one thing to really break you from this industry, but you'll always get back up and you'll do great. And I think for us is we didn't make our first feature film till I was, 35 years old. So there's people that I know who I respect. I look at someone who wrote a children's book called Elf on the Shelf, one of a great mentor. She didn't write the book until she was in her 50s.
Even with the internet nowadays, when you put your name on something, you should be proud of it, like no matter what. And when you hit submit, you should be like, you know what, this project, I'm happy with it. You can look back on it, you can learn on it, but always be happy when you submit a project. Always make sure you did as much as you could on that one. Because again, you will learn, you will keep evolving and everything. As far as like challenges that we face, I think it's just keeping up with the times. You got to keep learning things. There's a lot of companies now that don't use green screen, that they use like LED technology. The Mandalorian shoots on that for like Star Wars, which is pretty cool. So.
Thank you, Kirsten, Joel, and Andy, for being here today, sharing your wisdom. All three of you have shared your story, and that's really a gift. It's a gift for you to share your story. I also want to say thank you to Polk Vision for organizing and orchestrating the Career Insights series. And, Polk Academies is doing some great work. Polk Career Academies is helping prepare our students here in Polk County to be able to go on to careers as well as higher education. So I'm very grateful for all of you.